today we're going to be showing you how to make that wonderful Spanish cured sausage, chorizo, or chorizo as other people may call it. Okay, we've had lots of requests for a process of how to make this through the website and on our Facebook pages. So chorizo, which is a cured pork sausage combined with pimento de la vera, which is a paprika. So this is where they take the red peppers, dry them, smoke them and grind them up. So with this you have the options of either using a sweet paprika or a smoked paprika, whichever kind of tickles your fancy. I tend to use a blend of kind of 75% sweet and then 25% smoked, just to get a nice balance. So real doddle of a recipe here to go with. So for this we've got here approximately 750 grams of ground pork. So it's very important, as we've said in all our videos, that you grind your own pork. You don't buy pre-ground pork, okay? So with this I've gone with pork shoulder because this has a little bit of fat in it as well, and I've ground this up through an 8mm plate. So using your grinder like this, very simple to do. Remember, good tips are to chill down your meat beforehand by popping it in the freezer for 10 minutes beforehand. This will stop the fat from sludging up as you're going through the grinding, and also put all your equipment into the freezer as well to chill down as well. Or you can use the two knife method like this, which is a lot of fun if you like a slightly coarser grain going through your sausage. Or maybe you mix it up and go through a variety of both. I've then also got 250 grams of pure fat. So this is fat that I've then cubed up to make little cubes of fat. That will be running through the sausage. I've then got 3 garlic cloves, which I've minced. We've then got 25 grams of paprika. Very important to try and use a quality paprika if you can. If you're able to get pimento de la vera or pimento de mejia, then that's even fantastic, and you can then be very authentic. But here, a good quality paprika. Here I've gone with a mix of sweet and smoked, because that's just the way that I like it in my sausage. Next up, the salt, very important piece. This is absolutely vital to the curing process. It's important to use proper salt. If you can get a PDV salt or kosher salt. You can also use a sea salt or a cooking salt, but don't use table salt. Okay? Table salt actually has additional potassium and anti-caking agents in, which we don't really want in our sausage. So for this I'm going with the magic number of 3, which is 3% of the weight of the meat in fat in salt. So here I've got 30 grams. If you are into using the additional sodium nitrates and the Prague powders, then you'll be looking for 2.5% of the weight in salt and 0.25% in Prague powder number 2, pink salt number 2, Instacure number 2. Okay, it's your choice whether or not you want to use these or not. I don't. I'm experienced with charcuterie making. I make sure that everything's clean and I use quality pork. But if you wish to go down the route of using additional nitrates, that's your choice, in which case you'll be looking for 2.5% and 0.25%. We've then got here 50 ml of white wine, and then the lovely sausage casings. So for these I'm using a 32 to 34 ml casing, mainly because this means that the chorizo will be ready in approximately 2.5 to 3 weeks. So once we've packed all this into our skins here, we'll then be drying them and looking for about a 30% waste loss. When preparing your skins, very important to soak them in water, refresh it a couple of times, and then just before using I like to pop in a little teaspoon of white wine vinegar, which just also helps a bit of the disinfecting process. So we will then crack on with making our sausage. So first things first, as always, we need those magic hands. Okay, so as we've always said before, all these recipes are available on our website as well, which is available in the description, or you can go to thecraftcookhouse.com. So we've started off, we put in all of our pork, and then I'm adding in all of the fat. So this is the cubed fat. Okay. Start giving that a little bit of a mix through. Don't be afraid to take your time when it comes to doing any of the mixing and making sure all the ingredients are in thoroughly. So first up I'm going to be adding in our salt. making sure this is thoroughly combined. For salt, I'm going to be going in with our minced garlic. So in here I've got 3 cloves. 3 cloves of minced garlic. I'm going to add in all my paprika. And then part way through this process I'll then add my white wine, which will help to loosen the mixture a little bit and also help to get all of the paprika in amongst the meat. The wine is also working with the salt to counteract any bad bacteria that's in there and also aid with part of the curing process as well as a little bit of the flavouring. Lovely smash. Okay, so we're going to give this all a good thorough mix and then we'll show you what it looks like. Now there are 2 varying methods for the next stage. You can either pack these immediately into the casings, or as some fellow makers do, they like to actually let this sit for 24 hours in the fridge covered in order to help the flavours permeate a bit more, I suppose. But for this process we're going to go straight into putting into the casings. Okay, so next up we'll be looking to put this into our sausage stuffer. If you don't have a sausage stuffer, you can also use a simple, humble bottle top like this. Again, you can check our website or other videos on how to make this, but essentially you're going to put your sausage tube on the end and then you'll be able to force the meat down this way. It's also very useful for capturing the ends which don't quite get pushed through in the sausage stuffer. So here we go. Now it's just a case of loading up our meat into the stuffer. And then we will be adding our tube and putting the casings on. Okay, give it all a push down so we can get rid of as much air as possible. Okay, now it's just a case of stuffing our casings. So good tips: 1, don't tie your sausage casing until some meat starts to come through. This will also help to eliminate any air that's there. So now we'll just gently squeeze this through. Wait for the air. There we go. And as the meat starts to come through now, we can now pull this over and tie. Okay, so that's all nice and tight, then we can bring it back on itself, and now it's just a case of filling our casings. Make them into the lengths that you want. These will shrink down by about 30%. I'm going to go for about 25 centimetres long, just like so. Back a bit, take a little break, squeeze, force my meats down. And then take a little bit of my butcher's string and tie off. Take the scissors, take a cut. Now, good tip when we're doing this bit, so you've got your little flap here of sausage skin, and we have our knot. What we're going to do is we're going to put the sausage skin back over the knot and tie again. Okay, and this will give us a nice seal ready for our sausage. So essentially, here we go. This will then be pricked in a minute. So I'll now get on and make the rest of these. I'll also show you the bottle top method here. It's a case of taking your mix and then using the end of the bottle top as a funnel and down into your tubes, like so. It's a little bit more time consuming, but you know, considering the cost of the plastic bottle is all you really have to account for here. It's a simple trade-off. Okay, so here we have our wonderful chorizo ready for pricking and hanging. Invariably you always end up with some casings left over. Anything of decent lengths like this you're able to reuse. For that, what you need to do is put them into a food grade bag with a lot of salt, like caked in salt, and then pop them in the fridge, and then they're good for at least a couple of months for your next sausage making. So here we've got our wonderful chorizo sausages, and as you can see there's some air pockets in here. So for this we want to take our sterilised needle like this, and we will just go through and prick out all of the air bubbles like so. Once we've done all that, I take a little label and I will weigh each one of these, and on the label I will record the date, the weight it is now, and then the target weight. Okay, so I'm looking for a 30% reduction because that gives the texture that I like for my chorizo, but you feel free to take it to 35% if you prefer something a little harder and firmer. Then it's a case of just hanging them for 24 hours in room temperature. This will just start part of the maturation process. And then after that we want to go and pop them away somewhere cool, somewhere between 9 to 11 degrees is perfect, with some minimal airflow outside of direct sunlight. Okay, if you have anything like a wine fridge, it's absolutely ideal for that because you're also able to maintain some of the temperature. Don't worry if there's a little bit of temperature fluctuation going on there. It's all good because the salt will be doing its work on the inside there on the meat. After the 3 weeks you'll end up with something like this. As you can see, nice and firm. So this one is 3 weeks old. It's already had its weight loss, so we'll now cut it open and give it a look so you can see what it looks like. So as you can see here, lovely, lovely red, and it tastes absolutely sublime. So if you enjoyed our video and found it informative and interesting, why not hit that like button? And why not subscribe as well, so that you can get access to other videos from us on home charcuterie making. You can also visit our website at thecraftcookhouse.com, and you can leave us additional comments or make requests for other recipes that you wish for us to make. Bye for now.